Entire InoxGFL Group, so there are multiple companies. We primarily operate in two verticals, chemicals and renewable energy. Under chemicals, our listed companies, Gujarat Fluorochemicals Limited, and under the renewable arm, our listed companies are Inox Wind and Inox Green. What we've set out the vision for the entire group is to become energy leaders in the entire energy transition space. New age, new energy. And we have forayed into battery chemicals, EV materials, solar and green hydrogen products, PM membranes, fluoropolymers, which are used in very, very niche high-end fluoropolymers for solar and green hydrogen. Obviously, on the wind side, we have strengthened our EPC play. Our O&M company, Inox Green, is on the lookout for multiple acquisitions. And we've recently announced two new ventures, which is more in the renewable arm, which is Inox Solar, where we're looking to set up about 5 gigawatts of solar cell and module manufacturing capacity, which is complementary to our wind business. Because what we realized was, and there's an IPP arm called GFL Renewables, where we're setting about 3 gigawatts of hybrid capacity. What we realized was, effectively, majority of the IPPs and the government demand and the government push is towards hybrid and FDRE.
Right.
So, who's the guy who's providing all of it? And then we saw we ourselves require so much capacity. So we kind of looked at it strategically as a complementary fit. So a lot of the internal requirement gets satisfied through Inox Solar. A lot of the PSU tenders, which are hybrid, we don't want to tie up through random people because a lot of them are not financially strong. That comes in through Inox Solar. And then as we're supplying to a lot of the largest IPPs in the country, a lot of them said, when it's hybrid and you're building the wind project for us, it'll be easier just doing plug and play. You supply the module as well and just commission the solar piece as well. So it's more a strategic bet for us. What we've done is Inox Solar is the manufacturing arm. And Inox Resco and Inox Green, which are Inox Wind's arms for EPC and O&M, will do the EPC and O&M for solar as well. So Inox Wind overall gains and it's complementary to Wind's growth.
Right. You said around 3 gigawatt is what you're looking at.
That's what we're looking to do in our IPP play, which is personally owned by the promoters, where we're setting up about 1,500 megawatts of wind and 1,500 megawatts of solar. About 600 megawatts is captively required by us, and the remaining we would be selling to C&I customers and on the exchanges.
Okay, but on the manufacturing side, by when you're looking this plant to be ready?
Look, our first plant, which eventually over the course of the next 12 months will become 2.4 gigawatts, the first 600 to 1200 megawatts should go live in March 25. We conceptualized, we've been thinking about it, we've put it into motion about a month ago. And in the next 3 months, our first plant will be going live.
And what is the capacity you're looking in the first phase?
So this would be about 600 to 1200 over a period of 3 to 6 months. And over the course of the year, this complex will be about 2.4 gigawatts for modules. And next year, we should be going live with about 2.4 gigawatts of cell capacity and incremental module capacity. And further then, we'll enhance our cell capacity depending on how things play out.
Okay, would you like to further backward integrate for wafers and other things?
No, not at this point in time. I don't think it's required. I think the government is very clear. Modules have to be, you have ALMM for modules and you have ALCM coming in for cell. I think it will be 4 to 5 years at least before cell stabilizes and capacities go live. At that point in time, if there is a need, I doubt there would be a need, but if there is a government push and a mandate, at that point in time we will. Again, let's not forget, in our chemicals business, we are very, very advanced high-end fluoropolymers and very, very complex chemicals. So for us, getting into the solar side of things is not complex at all. Again, wind is far more complex than solar. There's no comparison.
Is that also the reason why now you have looked at venturing into solar? Because wind alone wasn't making much sense, because if you see the last few years...
No, I don't agree with that. I think the last few years the sector went through upheaval because of transition from feed-in tariffs to auctions. And then COVID. If you look at it today, the government is going bonkers on wind. We're sold out for the next 2 years. We've upgraded our guidances 4 times. Our latest upgrade was going from 800 to 1200 next year and then 2 gigawatt the following year. We can sell as much as we want, but ramping up capacity from 0 to 2 gigawatt in 3 years takes time, building supply chains, project development pipelines. We had to fix the wind companies. Wind got sorted last year. We raised about 2,000 crores of equity capital over the period of 12 months. 12 to 18 months. Wind is now very, very strong. It's a net cash company, growing exponentially. We've upgraded our margin guidances to 17% with the caveat to further upgrade guidances. So we thought, it seems we are late, but I think the way we are playing it out, we should be in the top 3 players in solar as well.
Okay, as far as order book is concerned, what's your current order book?
Our wind order book currently is about 3.4 gigawatts across PSUs and some of the largest IPPs. It's been the largest ever we've ever had. And we're in advanced discussions with a lot of large CNI players and IPPs, as well as participating in various PSU tenders. But again, we need firm order books. There's no point having LOIs and MOUs. So if we've guided for 1200 megawatts next year and 2 gigawatt thereafter, that's 3.2 gigawatts.
Right.
My current order book is sold out for the next 2 years in any case. So, so this is not a, pizza shop where you keep doing 100, 200, 500 stores. We have 24 months of visibility already in the system, and that's the longest lead time you get to execute projects in any case.
Right. But given the kind of order book that you have, your manufacturing capacity across 4 plants that you have is around 2.5 gigawatt.
That's right.
So would you be expanding your manufacturing capacity also going ahead? And
so we've already announced our new nacelle facility should go live sometime in February 25. That's another 800 megawatts of manufacturing capacity. It's asset light. So we've not invested 100 crores. We've taken this plant on rent at a single digit per annum. So in fact, we have savings rather than investing. And I think we're looking at 1 or 2 incremental plants for blades in different parts of the country to save on logistics costs, again on the same asset light model. Because putting 100 crores means 10 crores of interest cost or 8 crores of interest cost. And I've got this rent on a low single digit. So we're actually saving money.
And who is providing you this lease facility?
So there are multiple people who have plants here. We've taken it on a 9-year lease.
Okay. And that's for the entire capacity?
That's 800 megawatts.
800 megawatts.
So we already have 2.5 gigawatts of manufacturing capacity.
3.4.
And other 800 will go live in February. And we are contemplating 2 new plants for blades in different parts of the country. Again, no asset, again, my 3, 4, 5 crores of yearly rent, if at all. That's to save on logistics costs and add to our margins as we move forward.
Right. Last year you also, I think this year itself, you had sold off your stake or diluted your stake in the company.
Which company?
Wind.
No, we did that in 2 tranches because we raised capital through the holding arm and pumped that capital back into wind to make it net cash. So when the sector went through hell, where 33 players shut down, we probably are the only player in India which has survived with a single rupee of haircut to any banker or creditor. The promoters pumped in 700 crores. We've raised about 2,000 crores of equity. Every single banker, every single creditor was paid the last paisa. So there is no haircut. And we continue to own about 48 to 50% of this company.
And you are debt free now?
No, we are net cash.
Net cash, okay. And what's your total cash on books right?
Look, it keeps wavering, but on the last balance sheet, which was there, I think we had about 300 crores of cash, what's in the public domain. So I think it'll keep moving up as we keep going forward.
But also talk a little bit about your EV chemical business, that battery chemical business that you have ventured into.
So that's a 100% subsidiary of Gujarat Fluoro, our listed chemical arm. In fact, we've recently raised 1,000 crores in that entity at a 3 billion at 25,000 crores of value. We're very excited about that opportunity. We are building probably the largest battery chemical complex ex-China, given 95% of the battery supply chain was controlled by China. Everybody was looking for an alternative to China, as well as you've got various regulations on the US where you need to move away from the Chinese supply chain. So I think we are primarily positioned. Some of our initial plants have been commissioned. It's a very long gestation process, 3-4 years to build it out, test it out. We're in the fag end. We've now started getting PPAs in place for supplying these products. I think till March 25, a lot of the validation process will be done. And in the next financial year is when we start fairly decent amount of supplies. But the following year should be a very large supply. I think what we've set out for ourselves is about a 6,000 crores of capex plan over the next 3 years with an asset turn of about 2 times. So that's what this business is going to be. And we're looking at about 25% margins in this business. So it should be a very, very large contributor to the group profitability as we move forward.
And would you also be looking at exporting this?
Oh, yes. Almost 75-80% of our product would go. In fact, we're looking at setting up some manufacturing outside of India as well. So yes, about 75 to 80% of our initial capacities would initially maybe more. But in terms of the larger scale that we're setting up, about 75 to 80% of that volume would be for the global markets.
And how do you measure the capacity for this? As batteries or
in tons? So for example, we're in LiPF6 salts, we're in LFP, which is CAM material, we're in binders, which is fluoropolymers, PVDF and PDFE, and we're in electrolytes. Electrolytes is a domestic play. The other 3 are all domestic and international. Almost international would be about 75 to 80% of our play. but this would be in tons, tonnage.
And initial capacity would be how much?
So our initial LiPF6 plant would be is 3,000 tons. Our LFP plant, which goes live in the next two odd months, should be about 5,000 tons. And then we're looking to take this up to about 2 lakh tons.
2 lakh.
And our 3,000 tons will eventually move up to about 30,000 tons over the next 3 years.
Okay, and which are the geographical areas where you're looking to set up manufacturing units also outside India?
Can't disclose that at this point in time.
Okay, but in India where you have it?
India's Gujarat.
Gujarat. And who are your buyers for these batteries?
No, so we would be starting. We are pre-ref today. Supply starts from
No,
next
but have you
quarter.
already spoken to
Yes, we have certain agreements in place with some
OEMs?
of the largest OEMs in the world. They are both battery manufacturers as well as automobile manufacturers. And we're in advanced negotiations for PPAs with virtually every OEM globally.
And a couple of more questions. One on your total capex for group as such, if you can talk about including GFL, wind and your green business. So what's planned for FY25 and FY26?
So I'll give a 3-year plan, right? I think over the past 3 years, we've pumped in about 5,000 crores of capex across the group. In the next 3 years, barring IGREL, our IPP arm, chemicals, GFL, GFL EV, Inox Wind, Inox Solar, and Inox Resco and Green put together should be about 8,500 crores, 6,000 being EV and 1,000 being the entire green acquisitions, Resco, Inox Wind, and solar would be another 1,000. So wind itself would be about 100 crores a year, but acquisitions could be about 500-600 crores. So broadly 6,000 crores for EV, 1,000 odd for O&M acquisitions, Resco, wind 300, and about 1,000-1,500 for the solar arm. So about 8,500 crores would go into these 3 arms. Our IPP business, which is IGREL, would be an incremental 18,000 crores, but that's in the private domain. So overall, we would do about 25,000 crores, but 18 is in the private domain.
And as far as your total income, as far as execution of per megawatt, say wind, what is that in terms of
the revenue?
Revenue?
So blended, because we do turnkey and equipment supply, a thumb rule blended would be about 6 crores a megawatt.
Okay.
So 1,000 megawatts would give us about 6,000 crores of top line.
Okay. And last year was not so good, but this year...
Last year we came back. I mean, if you look at the past 5 years, we barely survived.
Yeah.
I mean, we're surviving with promoter support and we didn't go to NCLT. We didn't get multiple haircuts or restructuring done with banks. We lost about 2,000
how do you
crores.
see the second half? And
2024 was our turnaround year where we did about 376 megawatts. We went from about 600 crores of losses to about 200 crores of EBITDA.
Right.
This year, we've guided for 800 megawatts. We're well on track to do that. Next year, we've guided for 1,200 megawatts and then 2 gigawatts. We are guided for 15% EBIT this year. We upgraded it to 17% already, with the caveat that there could be further upgrades as we move forward. So I think we're on a very, very strong wicket. See, the period you talk about is when the transition was taking place from feed-in tariffs to auctions. So 33 players shut down. There are only probably 2 players in the market. We're the only player where promoter stake is virtually in double digits. We're at 48, 50% and 0 haircut. So I think we are probably the strongest wind company in the India with the strongest promoter backing in the entire Indian subcontinent.
One last question. You said initially that you are looking at various mergers and acquisitions also. So which are these companies where you are in talks with?
No, that's really on the IGREL side, our IPP arm, where we're looking at acquiring various wind assets and solar assets. And in Inox Green, our O&M arm, we're evaluating multiple portfolio purchases to do O&M.
Okay.
We're not looking at any other acquisitions at GFL, EV,
So
or Inox Wind.
IGRL would mostly be those 33 companies which have shut down. So are they?
No. IGREL is an IPP company.
So on
We
the
own
generation
assets.
side.
We own wind and solar assets. It's an annuity business. Those 33 which have gone bankrupt are gone. No one's going to touch them. We have no interest in that crap. They're dead.